Hello everyone. Well, this is me starting a new practice on API testing. So why not combining two of my passions? One is software quality and the other one I believe that for most of the people, Pokemon. Yep. So let's simulate that we're capturing a new bug with API testing. So actually what I'm looking for is to improve my skills on API testing since I don't have an extensive experience with it. So let me tell you what I'm going to do or what are the tools that I'm going to utilize or implement to face this new practice. One will be the following: Playwright. Playwright, it is a powerful framework. It is one of the latest ones and will provide you not only user interface testing, but as well will give you the capability for API testing out of the box. Besides, has a ton of utilities as reporting, recording, screenshot, and much more out of the box without any other library or dependency. And something else, why not going for the usual or the typical or the most classic one, that is also Postman. And we're going to utilize a pretty well-known website that is called pokeapi.co. So basically this website is free and it gives you the possibility to practice with GET requests. Either you want to do testing, you want to do development, you want to do whatever you want to do or implement, you can utilize it. So let me tell you something else, that on this case I focus on two resources. One is Pokemon and the other one is Berry. So let's start with it and let me show it to you. As you may see, I have already a readme for this, but anyways, let's double check it and let me recap it for you. You already know that in most of the actual work scenarios, we're going to have multiple or different environments. Most likely they will be identified by some stage, maybe dev, QA, UAT, productions. Some also may use like dev 1, dev 2, dev 3, QA1, QA2, QA3. So just thinking on that way, it is ensuring that this solution would be capable to handle different information from different environment. You may think on maybe URL or URLs, names, usernames, password. So whatever you need that is going to be specific from that environment, it's going to be contained by different .m files. Something else that you will see is that we have certain requirements for this because we are using either some libraries, framework. So let me just tell you about it. We are using Playwright. You can use any package manager that you prefer. And you may be wondering why using cross-m, because I have .m. Well, .m is going to manage the .m files that we have, but the cross-m will give us a possibility just to ensure that everybody, regardless their operating system, are able to execute and specify over the terminal, the console basically, the N5 that they want to use. So you may be wondering as well, is it required for real or not? Kind of, because if you think in certain IDEs, as Visual Studio Code, I have it here, they have certain possibilities just to create different terminals, as you see. Let me show you. So maybe we could skip that. But anyways, in the case that maybe some user is not familiar with this, we're going just to reduce the issues of that. So let's do the following. Let's keep going. Right now I have already said something that is the following: certain scripts to execute the npx command along defining the m file. Since we know it's going to be obviously longer than this, I also said it, so it's going to be easier for you just to execute it. So last but not least, you have a link on my readme as well for the work that I have done with Postman. But let's double check a little briefly what I did in VS Code. So let's go to the package.json. As I told you, in order just to save effort or time at the time of execution, I did the following. So if you wanna just either execute this on dev environment or QA environment, obviously on this case it is only fictional, okay, it is not for real, because we have only one environment that is going to be called for us production, that is the website that I just showed you. You can use any of these scripts, so it would be npm run and the name of any of these scripts. In that way you don't have to write these long sentences. So let's go a little in depth for the Playwright config. On the Playwright config as well, we're going just to try to define what is going to be our end file, and we are also just defining or stating what is going to be our base URL. Bear in mind that this feature from Playwright, it is pretty good, but I still need some work to be done or some improvement, because for example the hooks are not going to be capable to utilize the base URL. So that's why that you'll see that sometimes I need to call or specify explicitly that I'm going to use the process.mm file, but anyways I'm going to show you later that. So let's go to testing plugin. This one is the one that is free, that's important, and it is meant for Playwright. So as you see, I have a distribution with Berry and Pokemon under different test case files, and something else is that you are seeing some like sections that are collapsing and collapse. That is done using or applying, as you want to say, test.describe. It is just the way that I wanted to do the distribution of the test cases visually here. Okay. Something else that you will see is that they can be executed as well here, and also let me show it to you. So if we do this, we're going just to execute them and to get the result. Besides, let me show you one of these test cases. So let's go to the top first of all. So as I told you, in some hooks we're going to have the issue that the base URL is not going to be defined. So in the case that we do not explicitly tell that we want to use the process.m base URL, it's going to fail. Okay, so that's important. In some other cases you will see that I'm not defining that. So let's find one of those cases. Here you have one, for example. So here there's no need to specify the base URL, it's not going to fail. But again, in the case that you have any issues, you know that the issue may be that. Okay, so something important to let you know as well is that I'm applying something that is called test.step. So let's do the following. Let's find one of those sentences so I can explain you a little more about it. So Playwright has, as I told you, a bunch of tools and features out of the box. One of those, it is improving the report. You know that not everyone is familiar to code, so in this way we can traduce or translate basically the actions or commands into plain English or any language. So it's going to be easier for everyone, for everybody just to see and read what is happening there. And something else that I'm doing is in some of the specs that are basically the assertions, we are doing a verification either for the code, for the properties that we're getting, values, whatever. I'm also using the test.step. Why? Because otherwise what is going to be just displayed, it is the spec.to be. And again, going back, we just told that we want to make this as friendly possible for everyone to see it. Okay, so that's the reason as well. Besides, you will see that on some of these test cases, we're going to have the following, some properties that are going to be double checked. And as you may see, what I'm doing basically on this case is having an array. Why? So in the case that the expected properties to be contained one for this resource that is very is going to change, either to be reduced or increased, we are not changing one assertion by one assertion. We're going to just to do one change on the expected properties, and it's just that. That's important just to let you know as well. Then let's review another thing. So give me a moment. Let me just find the example for you. Let me see if I'm able to find an example for you. Let me see. Okay. So for now, we're going just to cover this because I don't have any additional comment. But anyways, let's do the following. Before we change to Postman, let's see what happens if I try to execute all the test cases. Let's wait. And actually, you know what? I forgot just to, for real, executing all. Got it. So right now we are done. So let me go to the File Explorer. Let me open the report. Give me just a moment. So here we have it. Basically, here we have the report. It is going to be split by the files. And then we are able to see what I was telling you about the description, the test.describe. And as you see, the assertion, it is written in plain English, so it's going to be easier. What happened in the case that we did not? Well, basically, instead of showing this text that it is pretty friendly to everyone, it would just display expect.to be. That's something that I wanted to share with you. So let's switch over now to other tool or proposal for the API testing, that is this one. So as you see, you have also kind of a README that is overview, but anyways. And as you see, it is also capable just to support environment. How? So here is managed on a different way. And let me show it to you. We have environment here, section, and we are capable to define different environments. As well, within each environment, we can define one or a lot of variables. On this case, we only need one, okay? So let's go to collections. Collections, got it, perfect. So on collections, we have as well something similar to Playwright. We have decided to distribute this by the resources, basically Berry and Pokemon. Those are two different endpoints that we're going to test. And again, if we rewind to the very beginning, it is going to be for get request. So let's do the following. Let's dive on this one and let's see just a little more about it. So let me show it to you. As I was telling you, this is capable to work with different environments as Playwright does. But what happens if I do not just specify one? Basically, this will fail. So let's do the following. Let's hit send. As you are going to see, this is just failing. And the reason is that I haven't selected an actual environment. On this case, again, the only one that we know that is going to work, it is the production one. That is going to be this one basically. Right now, if I hit send, it will pass. And let me tell you a little more about this. So in this case, we are checking the Berry resource, sorry for that, with the ID one. Basically, we want to make sure that in the case that we're doing a search or trying to retrieve that information, we're going to be capable to do that by the ID. Okay. Something else is that the test cases basically, or the validations, are going to be stored or contained by scripts that from each request. As you see, I'm going to double check first of all the status quo. I want to see basically if it is success or not. I'm going to extract the JSON data from the response. Then I'm going to double check certain information, as on this one basically. Is the name the correct one? Because I know that the ID1 matches for the name Cherry, and also the ID1 matches with the name Cherry, so backwards. And in the case I have doubt, let's double check that over the website. So let's do the following. Before running the test case in Postman, we're going to double check it here. So as you see, I have a bunch of information, but I only want to double check the ID and as well the name. As you see, it is one and Cherry. So we're going to run this and double check that this is actually happening and working. And as well, I'm also going to double check the properties, as I told you. Again, it's going to be contained by an array, so I'm not like doing a repetition of the assertion. So let's double check it. Right now it should work if I hit send. And as you see, if I go to test results, it's just working out without any issue. It is telling me all the validations that have been done, and it's dynamic basically based on the environment. Let's do something else. Let's go to the negative test case, because you know what, we are trying to make this fail, and I have different ideas. For example, if we go for the ID, let's go for the ID one. So for the ID, we know that we're not expecting most likely 0, or it should, the ID at least, it should start in 1. We do know that an array in software development terms starts in 0, but anyways, for an ID purpose, it should start in 1. So we're going to try it out with 0, as well with something that is going to be smaller than 0, for example, -1, something else that we're not expecting to have at least stored as an ID is a decimal number. So why not try now with 1.3? We're expecting to not have any ID as 1.3 because it makes no sense. So this is the deal. We have 3 different values that we want to try. Totally, I could have 3 different requests get, that makes no sense, and I would be having more requests than I should be, and actually they are the same like request, and they are expecting even the same result, that is 404 as code. Okay, so that's the thing that I'm expecting, not a client error, a server error. It's just that. My bad with that. A client error because I'm looking for something that is not present there. So basically I'm sending out a parameter that is not accepted, either because does not exist or whatever, but that's the thing. It is going to be an error on my end. But check double something with me. So there's no very ID, or at least that's what it's doing, or just reporting to me the Postman tool. That's why that we see this one on red. The same happens if we do not select an environment, as you see. So how do I fix that? And this is pretty easy. On my case, again, I want to do an iteration with different parameters for the request, and I need to do the following. The collection, not the folder, because if you double check, if I go here, I have only add request and add folder, but if I go here, I have collection as well. So on this case, what I need to do is hit over very testing. That is the one that we want to just to execute a run. Then we hit run. We're going to deselect all. And something important as well is the following. Let's go to negative test cases. As you can see here, it is specified that we're going to need some information to run these test cases. So let's go here and let's do the following. Let's just download information for the IDs. I'm going to download this one. Got it. We already have it on the computer. we're going to go back here and we're going to do the following. Let's go to the runner, okay, and select file, select from computer, query ID, and you can see the values. They are basically the same that I have here, and they are covering the values that I told you before. Right now, the other thing that we need to do is the following. So we're going to find the one that we want. It is the negative case for the very resource that is searched by ID. So it's this one. I'm going just to hit on this one, and I'm going to run the very testing. And as you can see, I have 3 successes. In any case, if you have any comment or any suggestion, I'm open to that. I'm still working and refining my API tests, my API testing skill set basically, but I guess that this is a good start, and I'm planning to do more projects to refine my skills on API testing.